Hello and welcome back to the Ranged Only Challenge in Bannerlord, and our first battle in this episode is going to be against herself, the Empress Regea, and you can see here that our power levels are very significantly similar, so I am a little bit worried about this. Yes, I am very worried actually, because in the past, anytime I have attempted to do battle against someone that is relatively similarly strong, it has always resulted in a defeat, mostly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to maintain the amount of deaths that I've had from the previous challenge section. In other words, I'm going to continue to have the 3 deaths that I had on the way to 10, because I feel like resetting it might make things a bit too easy, because I felt like I was not really that much in danger any further, with a crossbow even. And with this bow, I'm going to be much more powerful and much more likely to defeat enemies. So generally, I feel like keeping the count the way it was, which was at 3 deaths, is probably going to be a little bit more interesting, shall we say. So let's see if we can maybe prevent ourselves from failing once more. A huge amount of really interesting suggestions, by the way, in the comments, and I do thank you very much for those. I'm going to be taking a look over them in much more detail as we go forward, because let's face it, well, I'm a bit frightened. I'm a bit frightened by some of them, because some of them are brutal and some of them are brutal. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, yeah, they are pretty harsh, but I am thinking that, yeah, actually, that kind of makes sense, right? It kind of makes sense, because at the moment, we kind of need to, do that. I feel like it would make sense for us to have a pretty harsh penalty for the next time that something like that happens. So, something like, me reaching 10 deaths actually happens. And I'm glad to see that a number of you were actually in favor of the whole, reducing the weapon tier and stuff like that, and we'll see how that goes. But obviously at the moment, I'm still deciding on what we're actually going to do, but generally, we'll see. We'll see. That's my thought on it at the moment, and we're just going to try our best not to reach the 10 deaths at this moment in time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move our forces down to the shall we say exit of the tree line here. I kind of want to stay in the tree line as much as possible, even though they don't have a huge amount of cavalry or anything like that. I think it would probably be beneficial to us to stay within the tree line as much as we possibly can, just for the sake of it, really. And bear in mind that we're not really going to be able to resupply on arrows that easily. So me hitting these shields right now, that's really bad, and in my opinion, we're gonna have to do something about that. I'm gonna have to kill many more units. I mean, look at that. There's a headshot right there, but still no kill. Look at that, a 99 damage. I believe that if he has no skills, that particular fellow, we are 1 HP away from taking him down, which is hilarious. Yeah. Okay, otherwise, in my off-screen time, the Southern Empire, which is obviously who we're fighting at the moment, did declare war against us, which is great. That's absolutely fantastic. Definitely want that kind of thing to happen more often. And otherwise, I also increased my steward skill to 125. Now, as a result of that, I was able to pick between 2 perks, and they both had to do with morale. One of them is having more horses in my inventory than infantry in my army. So in other words, having an overabundance of mounts for them, which I think is pretty cool. I think that's a pretty decent, pretty decent, pretty decent perk to take. Personally, I did not take that one though, because I think that is a little bit on the delicate side of things. Don't really like taking perks that are reliant on certain criteria like that, like having a certain amount of horses or something, because you never know what's going to happen. You're going to lose units, you're going to, potentially have a herd problem, you're going to need to deal with that. So generally having, you know, a perk that is only related to the amount of mounts available in your army, I don't think that's a good idea. So I decided on the alternate one, which is because the previous one gives you 4 morale, and this one that I actually took gives you 2 morale per day, I believe. So in my opinion, it's a lot better. It's a lot more stable, because what it does is if you have more than 7 days worth of food in your army, then you gain 2 morale per day, which is, in my opinion, much more reliable, and it's basically going to be active almost 100% of the time, which is exactly the kind of thing that I really want. I really like those kinds of reliable, stable perks that are always going to be active for the majority of the time. The only time that that's not going to be active is if we are defeated or something, and in which case morale really doesn't make any difference whatsoever, you know, at all. But there you go, we actually succeeded in destroying Regea's army. Bear in mind, this was actually an army. She was starting to get her forces together, and we managed to intercept her before she was able to get a critical mass of them, which is actually really nice. Anyway, I'm going to be taking her prisoner. I was actually going to say that if we did get the opportunity to take anyone else prisoner, I was actually going to let them go. That's exactly what I've started to do now when I have the opportunity to do so, because I personally feel like we should maybe try to make a couple of people like us a little bit, because you never know, with the amount of charm skill that I have, you never know when I'm going to have an opportunity to maybe persuade them to join us, maybe shake things up a little bit, and being able to have a little relation increase with some of them could make a big difference in that regard. So yeah, I'm hopeful that that will help us out somewhat. Now, I do have a lot of money, actually much more money than I had beforehand, because I basically just waited at Danustica until someone declared war, because there was basically nothing else going on. Anyway, these are the 2 perks that I had to choose between: Foreseeable Future and Logistician, and they both require you to be quartermaster, I believe. So even so, I'm not actually the quartermaster of my party, so I don't know whether it really has any impact anyway, because I'm generally not assigned to any role at the moment. But as you can see, this increases party morale by 2 if the party has more than 7 days of food, and it also increases your tariff income by 10%. As you can see, that's actually active at the moment, so that's pretty cool. Ah, look at that. You can actually... Oh, that's pretty awesome, actually. It tells you exactly what is active. And you can see here that most of these have to do with being quartermaster. And you can see that most of them are not actually active, the primary effects of these perks. So shall we actually make myself quartermaster right here? Let's actually make myself quartermaster and see what happens. I don't have any focus points, unfortunately, so... that's, of course, not really going to help, because I could technically spec more focus points into Steward if I wanted to. But yeah, as you can see, is this actually going to be active? No, probably need to move around a little bit to be able to see whether that has updated now. No, it still says that it's not active. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure whether it will say that or not, but doesn't really matter either way, because yeah, the other one is this: increases party morale by 4 if the number of mounts is greater than non-cavalry troops. Personally, I don't think that that's very good. I think it's all right, but I think the other one is just generally going to have much better uptime. And look at that, 309 Imperial charges were just added to my party. You know why that is? Yeah, you know why that is? That's because of one of my skills here. Let me actually just see. Which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. Animals in your inventory have a very low chance to reproduce. And amazingly enough, I think the developers have done something... Oh, no, actually, wait a minute. No, it's not 300. It wasn't 300 that actually... now I can't see how many it was. Oh, well, never mind. But yeah, the point is, we have an Imperial Charger that joined us, apparently. So that's actually pretty cool. Anyway, I'd like to maybe fight this guy. Wait a minute, he's way too fast. Yeah, he is way, way, way too fast. So we're not going to be laying in a pursuit course for him at the moment. But yeah, otherwise we do have a number of people that have leveled up. And you can see here that we have a couple of Imperials still with me. I'm actually attempting to convert a whole bunch of prisoners from Imperials into our army as we speak as well. And here we go. We have Eutropius. Eutropius is right here. Let's see if we can do battle with him. He does have a number of actually pretty high tier units, so we might have some issues with him, but we'll see. Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's have a look-see here. Now, what I would actually like to do as well is, I don't want to go there. I actually want to go to the diplomacy screen. So you can see here that the Southern Empire, as I was saying in the previous episode, they have a massive amount of combat strength, amazingly enough, considering their extremely small territory size. It's actually kind of crazy. The Khuzait are actually looking relatively similar to the Southern Empire, which is really surprising as well. Batania has 5.3. Vlandia is probably looking to be the most likely nemesis for us at the moment. And, well, thankfully they're quite far away, so I don't think we really need to worry about them just yet. Anyway, let's get our infantry and our archers into a nice position. We only managed to lose 9 units in the previous fight with Regea, and so I can almost wholeheartedly say with a little bit of confidence at least maybe, that we're not really going to have any difficulties dealing with anyone else that is lower than her in terms of combat strength. At least I hope so. Very much dependent, of course, on the environment that you're fighting in as well. But I think for the most part we should be okay. I don't really want to get myself killed though, but I will be taking a couple of extra risks here and there because I don't really want to be hiding at the back of the battlefield because, as I've said in a few of the Iron Man challenges where I only have 1 life in the game, and if I die then that's game over, or you know, something like that, then generally I don't really want to be hiding because that's just way too easy, you know. It is just way too easy for me to say, okay, I'm not going to die, I have 1 life. And well, yeah. I mean, I could basically just stand there and do nothing and I would be completely fine and probably complete the challenge without too many difficulties, but where's the fun in that, right? Where's the fun in that? Anyway, let's see if I can maybe just move my infantry a little bit closer here. Are they in loose formation? Yeah, they're in loose formation. Let's put these guys into shield wall. And we might have some issues because the Imperials do tend to have pretty good shields. And I don't know whether you noticed, but the enemy actually has some pretty decent ranged as well. So we might have some issues with them. As you can see, they actually have Palatine Guards and some Imperial Sergeant Crossbowmen. And you can see here that I'm being absolutely useless at the moment. There we go. Nice headshot right there. Can I get some more, please? There we go. There we go. My bow. Oh, yeah. My bow skill is now 225. Fantastic. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Thank you. And maybe we can get my riding skill to 275 as well. Oh, that was nice. That was a nice hit. Can I maybe do some damage here? Thank you. We seem to be having some problems with a couple of casualties that we're taking right now. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I mean, just think about this for a second. If it was you, right? If it was you and you were the enemy army and you're sending your infantry in, would you really want to send them into this? To these Azurai Master Archers? I certainly wouldn't want to do that. I would try to stay at range as much as possible, or kind of try to leverage the environment in such a way so as to force the opponent to come to me. But obviously sometimes that's just not available to the AI's thought process, I guess, and that might be the reason why that is not happening at the moment. But there you go, we're actually eliminating a whole bunch of them now, and let's just take them down. There we go. Alright, that is pretty nice. Oh, look at that, we only took 3 casualties. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a nice ratio. And as I said before, we're basically going to be letting these guys go now. And we're going to be kind of being a bit selective. We're going to be on a bit of a case-by-case basis, shall we say. I'm not just going to go and let everyone go, or I'm not going to take everyone prisoner every single time, because I feel like the Aserai do have a pretty significant advantage at the moment, and I don't think we really need to go super hard against the Southern Empire as it stands right now, because that's the thing. If these were Vlandians, I'd probably take them prisoner almost every single time, because the Vlandians are pretty strong. They have a track record of being relatively difficult to stamp out. And, well, the Southern Empire are very much on the back foot. As you can see, they only have Cyrenea. They're actually attempting to take Korinia Castle at the moment, by the looks of things. And we also have Lycaron, Sisterdime Castle, and Poros. That is all they own. That is it. So, as I say, that's why I'm really surprised that they're putting up such an incredibly vicious fight. Oh, look at that. You can now use all bows on horseback. That's looking pretty fun. That is looking pretty fun. Yep, I am definitely going to be taking that. There we go. You can now use all bows on horseback. So that means I should probably head on over to Batanian territory, because there is a bow. I can't remember what it's called now, but someone, or actually a couple of people, told me very early on in the series that the best bow in the game is from the Batanian lands, and as far as I'm aware, you can either marry into a family for it, or you can go and find it in a marketplace. And I was hopeful that maybe we'd be able to find it in a marketplace somewhere. I mean, I might be lucky. Not entirely sure. Okay, who's this guy? Okay, this guy's going to be really easy for us to deal with, but he is primarily cavalry, which is going to be the big issue here. Most of my companions have been eliminated, so I suppose we don't really have to worry about them dying then, I guess? I mean, as we've seen, the death ratio of a lot of NPCs is very, very high at the moment. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Oh, these guys, what are you doing? Why is he going in there? That is very strange. I don't know why he would have done battle with that guy. His disorganized state was really, really low. Look at that. Okay, I think I can catch him. There we go. We caught him. Oh, he has more combat strength than me. Oh, okay. Well, actually, it's about the same. It's about the same as Rajea, but bear in mind that she had 30 more units than he does. And that kind of makes me a little bit worried, because any kind of elite force is probably going to be much more dangerous than someone that just has more recruits or more lower tier units, because lower tier units can be killed very easily in comparison to the elite units, especially cavalry. And I'm very worried now that these fellows have amazing cavalry units or something, or just have generally more. Yeah, as you can see, look at this. Crazy amounts of cavalry right here. Let's see if I can maybe do some damage. I don't really care what I deal damage to at this point. I'm basically just wanting to deal damage to anything. So, can I just please hit? Yes. Can I just hit? He says as he misses 4 out of 5 shots. Fantastic. Bear in mind, I'm still trying to get that riding skill increase, so hopefully we're going to be able to do that. I do need to save my arrows a little bit, but I would hope that my archers are going to get into formation, because they're still not in formation just yet. I think they're actually now in formation, and hopefully they're going to be doing a good job for me here. I think the main problem that we're having right now is that it's nighttime, or generally it's kind of considered nighttime, even though I actually think it's more like dawn, but still. Let's see if we can maybe increase my riding skill now. Oh, these guys. Okay, yeah. We're going to have some problems. We are going to have huge, huge problems here. Okay, I'm going to have to tell my infantry to charge in here. I'm going to maybe have to tell my ranged to skirmish. because it is just going to be way too damaging, in my opinion, for them to just stand there. They're going to have to skirmish and maybe try to run away a little bit. Maybe do some hit and run tactics or something like that, because otherwise it's just going to be way too damaging for them. Could they actually fire, though? I would appreciate it if they could actually... I mean, look at these... Why are they not firing? Are you serious right now? Most of these guys are not even firing. Okay, so it seems like even if you put them in loose formation, dependent on the amount of archers you have, it's still not going to be enough to really give you the critical mass of archers that are really going to make a huge difference to you. I think I'm actually going to die here. This is me, you see. This is me putting myself in the firing line because I actually want to win this fight pretty badly. And now I'm in a situation where I actually have to put my life on the line to maybe achieve that. Nice. That was a good kill. That was a good kill. Maybe I can get this guy dead as well. Ooh, the travel time. The travel time. Okay, so I think we're actually good. Yeah, I think that is actually it. I'm going to tell my archers to charge in now. I know that some people say that that puts them into melee. That actually is not the case. They do go into melee if there's someone right next to them instead of just firing at them randomly. But as you can see, they just move forward a couple of paces and then they shoot. They move forward a couple of paces and then they shoot. That's what they do. They don't just go straight into melee, as you can see right here. If they did go straight into melee, then they would all be wielding their swords and everything right now. But it just means that they move into effective range. Hopefully I don't have to explain that again, because I've said that every single time, and there's always someone that goes, "Oh, but they go into melee." No, they don't. They don't. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, there you go. Whew. Okay, I was a bit worried about that. Oh no! We lost. You know, I actually jinxed that, I feel. I actually jinxed that, because before I went into the fight, I said, thankfully all of our companions are wounded, so they're not going to, you know, they're not going to die. But, oh yeah, there you go. Of course, they managed to die. At least I got my charm skill to 125, which is okay, I guess. I mean, it's fine. It's not really something that I care about too much, but I think it's going to be kind of good going forward to try and, you know, get some of these vassals on our side at some point. But yeah, I was really close to dying actually as well. But thankfully I managed to survive just about. Anyway, let's see if I can level up a couple more of these. Oh, nice, more Palatine Guards. I can always use more Palatine Guards. I've always found that they're really good, so I'm pretty happy with that. And otherwise, Lycaron is actually now under siege, and Korinia Castle is no longer under siege, so I assume that there is probably some kind of movement going on there. Probably an army from the Southern Empire has stopped besieging Korinia because they would want to probably defend against Hashan's army right now. So let's see if whether that is indeed the case. Let's get another one of these guys. Let's just persuade him to join us. Let's see what's going on. I'm almost there. Look at this. Increases your chance. Okay. This. Really? Really? Is this actually good? Is this actually good? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's going to turn the horse into some kind of juggernaut, crazy, you know, crazy good damage for charging into enemies and things like that. I really have no idea. Well, never mind. Okay, gain 10 more influence by winning tournaments. Well, that is not really that useful for me at the moment, so I think I'm probably going to take the other one, which is 30% chance to negate relationship penalty from kingdom decisions. We'll take that one. So yeah, we'll hope that this actually does something, because that's going to give me 7 additional charge damage and maneuver right away as soon as I spec into it. Now, I already have 7 charge damage, so that gives me a 100% increase in my charge damage, and it gives me a 10% increase in my maneuver straight away. And it's obviously a value-based bonus rather than a percentage-based bonus, because if it was 10% charge damage, then that would be pretty awful. But thanks to it being a flat value, it's actually making much more sense for the charge, but not so much for the maneuver, but I think it's alright. I think it's okay. So we'll see how that goes. There are a number of people around here as well. These guys are, of course, the mercenary company, the minor faction that we just did battle with, and you can see that, obviously, because they do have a massive amount of cavalry, that is a little bit difficult for my army to deal with, so I don't really want to head in there if I can help it. And Lycaron is very poorly defended, as you can see. Only barely scraping 300 units, not even there yet. And there are a lot of extra people coming in. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I can do some damage against these guys. The Foresters generally tend to not have any shields. I think they are mostly two-handed weapon users. So if I can maybe do battle against them... Oh, he's trapped himself. Why did he do that? Why did he do that? That was really, really strange. I have no clue why he did that. But anyway, let's see if I can... Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a bit tired of this particular map, to be honest. I would love to be able to have a different map, but it seems like this area in general just gives you 3 different variations of this. So it would be nice to see a little bit more variation in that, but oh well, never mind. Can't really do much about it right now. Let's just see if we can deal with this opponent and hopefully get my riding skill to 275. Bear in mind that I do have maxed out focus points, and there it is. There's the next level, but yeah, I do have maxed out focus points in riding, so my learning speed of 0.8 is, well, I can't do anything about it. But there you go. I actually did get 275. Fantastic. So that is now going to increase my charge damage and my maneuver by 7. And it is scalable, of course. So that's pretty good. Well, it seems like most of them are actually running right away, so I guess I could just tell my guys to charge in, see if I can maybe do some damage to the opponent. Has the Lord actually died yet? No, he's still alive. Well, where is he? That's the point. Oh, that's him. Alrighty. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so he's dead, so now their morale is no doubt going to plummet even further than it already is, and we should be absolutely fine to mop things up right now. I'm actually kind of surprised they're not giving us a automatic victory right here. Kind of a bit weird, because I can press tab and I'm not getting anything right now. It's kind of strange. Oh well, never mind. I guess I can still try to get my bow skill leveled up a little bit. Maybe it's because there's a cavalry unit here still alive, potentially. That might be the reason. There we go. Okay, he's dead. Okay, can I get the retreat now? Yeah, kind of. Okay, bit of a strange thing. Not entirely sure what really needs to be fulfilled for us to be able to do that. But anyway, let's just let him go. Generally, I've always felt like it's a morale problem, you know, to allow you to retreat at some time. But I would have expected, considering we did so much damage to them, that would have been easily the case already, but apparently not. Anyway, there you go. Let's move on. And we've thinned out the vassal herd as much as we possibly can, at least without... Ooh. Yeah, at least without having a huge problem. And what do we have going on here? Okay, this is actually a super easy victory for us, I think. Oh, actually, maybe not. Look at that. Yeah, it's 406 versus 483. Let's see what the Southern Empire has available to them. They don't have that many recruits. They only have 27, and the rest of their units are a smattering of all kinds of other things, like minor faction units. They do have a couple of high-tier elites from the Imperial forces themselves. But that seems to be about it. I guess what we're going to do is we're going to leave this battle for the next episode, and we'll see if someone else turns up to assist them And if not, we're gonna go in and see what happens. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.